Cassidy from the champion. Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
All right, the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast on the air, talking Dynamite. My name is Randy Isiah, absent this week, filling in for Wayne Rivera. With me always is the evil counterpart to our AEW weekly discussion, Mr. Emerito Rivera. We call him M for short. M, or this week it's M the Rainmaker.
Yeah, dance, Skippy.
So basically, you are the maker of rain. So if you start dancing, it's going to start raining outside.
It's gonna rain, Randy. Come on.
I am sorry. Listen,
I am not keeping up with the memes.
I'm a 70s baby. I do not know what this means.
I know what this means.
I'm late to the party. Well, listen. This means money, so I know something about it. Yeah. So
and it has to do with Kazuchika Okada. That's his move, the Rainmaker.
See, I just learned something. Okay, so let's remind everybody you can listen to all the Deep Six podcast episodes by going to the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast Facebook page, or of course go over to YouTube where all of our past episodes are there. I believe this is episode number 42, as Wayne always likes to bring out. Episode 50 right on the corner.
I think we're 43 because I know we're the odd number.
Okay, I don't know because I don't think he did a show for Raw this week.
All right, so we're 42.
I'm not. Okay, we're looking great for our age too. And as I always like to say, it's called Talking Dynamite. That's how I listen on backsportspage.com. Of course, you can follow me and my whole staff, Tommy Smith, who's not on with us this week, as well over at backsportspage.com at backsportspage, as well as I'm on Instagram and Twitter at RandyBSP. This guy over here, you can find. This guy over here,
the other side.
Yeah. He's over here. Okay. Level 1 Games over in Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Trust me, it is worth the ride. Level1games.com. Take your game to the next level and relive your past over at Level 1 Games. Okay. How's that?
It was good. As long as you say level 1. One thing that drives me crazy is that that you guys always write the word 1. Yeah. It's the number 1. The word 1 is a totally different store. Somewhere else.
I will eat crow. I will apologize for that. You are my friend. I love you, and I will never do that again.
I appreciate that. But one moment before we continue with the podcast, we have to pour one out for our missing homies tonight, Wayne and Tommy. So a little bit of the bubbly for you, baby. A little. Oh my God, I did too much.
Listen, I want to tell you one thing. You guys get on me about him with the whole drinking stuff and everything, and I apologize to him every time I say it out loud, and then you do that. Shame on you, my friend.
This was Poland Spring.
Yeah,
we're a PG thing here against my better judgment.
Yeah, like you said, a little bit of bubbly water.
Exactly, the sparkling water.
Sparkling water. Sparkling water.
Right. Now I'm all wet. This is the problem doing that.
I just want to let you know that was the dumbest thing I think you've ever just did.
And listen, that's what my friends mean to me. All right? I had to pour it out for them. I had to show it on camera.
Listen, before we really also get started with the wrestling aspect, I guess we should cross promote real quick. You and I will be live again this Tuesday on the Back Sports Page Network with Keith Elliott Greenberg talking about his new book, Too Sweet, The Evolution of Indie Pro Wrestling. Oh, look at that. He just happens to have the book with him. Look at that.
Listen, I've been reading this. It's very good, man. I've been enjoying it.
So that's my shameless plug. That's what I get to do. I get to plug Back Sports Page for that. So you can catch M and I this Tuesday night. We'll spit out the link. I really appreciate all the support that everyone gives. Not only Back Sports Page, but the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast. It's a pleasure to be here every single week talking about AEW. Sorry,
hey, listen, I'm the Iron Man. I've been here every week.
Yeah, you listen.
I'm a little under the weather today. All right, and my allergies are killing me, and here I am with you guys. I love this.
No, listen. What I also really appreciate it too. What I like about the show is I know like this. Like Wayne's got me working today. I gotta make sure I'm on point.
Yeah, you gotta earn that paycheck today.
I can't sleep through this episode. This is tough.
I know.
Not that I would ever sleep before on other episodes. Okay, anyway. So anyway, let's get to it before we go into AEW and talk about other wrestling related headlines and other things like that. let's go to our G1 specialist, our New Japan specialist. G1 specialist sounds so bad. Our New Japan wrestling specialist, Emerito Rivera, for our G1 report. Take it away, Em.
Like you guys know, it's G1 season. It's a little late this year, thanks to COVID and the Olympics that didn't take place. But needless, here we are. And I'll start with your updates. So in A block, we have Will Ospreay with 3 wins. He's at 6 points. Oh, he's great. Him and Jay White tore it down. I'm not going to tell you who won because just in case you haven't watched and you don't want spoilers.
And you're not a spoiling guy.
You're not a spoiler. No. So I'm giving you wins and losses. Then that's it. So he's got 3 wins, so 6 points so far. And then we have Jay White right behind him with 3 wins and 1 loss. Kota Ibushi joins them with 3 wins and 1 loss. Jeff Cobb at 1 win. Tomohiro Ishii with 1 win. This was surprising. Kazuchika Okada with 2 wins. We have Yujiro Takahashi with no wins, 0, not 1. Then we have Tai Chi again with 3 wins, Minoru Suzuki with 3, and Shingo Takagi with 1. That's A block. So there's a lot of three wins, a lot of 6 points here. At least 5 people with 6 points. So we move on to Block B, which happened this morning. Block B, we have Sonata with 1 win. We have Juice Robinson with 3 wins. Wow. Did not expect that. We have Yoshihashi with 1 win. Toru Yano, surprisingly, with 3 wins, because, again, it's 2020, so why not? Hiroki Goto with 1 win. Kenta with 2 wins. He's at 6 points. Zack Sabre Jr. with 2 wins. Evil, now with Bullet Club, 2 wins. Hiroshi Tanahashi with 2 wins. Tetsuya Naito with 3 wins. And that is the update for the G1. And we'll have that next update for you next week.
Real quick, before we jump off the G1, I have to ask your honest opinion. Are Jay White and Will Ospreay the two top talents that the American audience is not 100% familiar with at this point? Like, because they haven't got that American TV exposure. They have not been on AEW. They have not been on WWE. They have not been on American TV unless you're going out and searching for them on the New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, yeah, I'd have to say, yeah, because Sonata wrestled for TNA. And you had Ibushi that wrestled in the Cruiserweight Classic. So I think Will Ospreay and Jay White are the biggest names that you haven't seen here.
Okay.
Ospreay, I think, is a little more well known than Jay White. Jay White is my pick to win this thing. My money's with my dude Jay White. He's Bullet Club. And but Will Ospreay is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, and he used to look up to the Amazing Red, and he actually faced him last year in the Super J Cup.
Amazing Red ever get old? Like, I feel like I've been listening to that name, Amazing Red, and there's another old name that sort of came to fruition to me today, and I wanted to see if you remember the name Mike Quackenbush.
Yes, actually. I read a lot about him.
Mike Quackenbush is one of the all-time great independent wrestlers, never really to get that dance in the big show.
No, but he was with Chikara, wasn't he?
He was with Chikara, but you remember he was also at a time where Chikara was still a virtual unknown.
Yeah, but he's the owner, isn't he?
Yeah, now he is. Yeah,
yeah. He did that whole hiatus. I read about it in the book. Very good. And this guy was the champion during that time. What's his name? I'm blanking. He just fought Moxley last week. Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. He was the champion during that time, so it was pretty interesting. And they used to do a lot of weird stuff like space travel. What was it? Space travel, time travel stuff. I've never seen that in pro wrestling. But it's interesting stuff, man. I'd like to see some of that.
Well, listen, you teach, I'll listen. That's the rule. So this is now. So let's transition. Let's turn the car over. Let's put it into drive here and head down to Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
to Daly's Place. I believe last night's show was a tape show.
It was.
Okay, so let's start off and in the first match of. Let's take a look down at the little graphic here. The first thing we're going to talk about is Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin, opening match of the show. Team Taz represented here. A little appearance for Brian Cage, helping out Ricky Starks. Darby Allin had a little help from Will Hobbs as well. But I got to tell you, Em, I messaged you during this match telling you one of the things I really liked about it was the wrestling psychology. They went after a body part for a good portion of the match, and they stuck with it. But the problem was, as it went on, that they didn't sell some of those same mechanics that they were working on during the match. Overall, if I had to rate this match on a 5-star scale, this was definitely a solid 3.5 star match.
Yeah.
No problem with this match whatsoever. Great opener for a TV match. They put an ending to the feud because Ricky was just after Darby and getting the best of Darby each and every time. I know you're a heel, you like that. They needed to have Darby get his comeuppings in this one and finally sort of get the win on this. No problem with this whatsoever. What'd you think?
Dude, that ending, it was kind of brutal for me. Like he did the coffin drop on Ricky's lower back. I'm like, come on, please, not the lower back, man. If you've ever had lower back pain, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't hit the guy at the lower back. But at least he tensed up at the last second and was able to brace for it. But and I'm here by myself. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. I don't know what happened there. So you had me up until he wins with the coffin drop. Ricky with that beautiful spear coming off the rope. Like I said, no problem with this match.
No, technically, the match was perfect. I can't complain. It was a departure from the normal tag team matches we've been treated to. But listen, I can't complain about it. It was hard hitting. It was intense. Hopefully, this is the end of the rivalry. I doubt that it is. But if it's not, if these are the type of matches I have to look forward to, I'm not going to complain about it.
No, I'm not either. My only issue with it is, like you said, now Darby's gonna move on to Brian Cage probably. I had, like I said, my only issue with Team Taz, I just feel like they're just gonna constantly get beat up.
I hope that's not the case. I mean, next week Cage is defending his FTW belt, isn't he?
Yes, he is, against Will Hobbs, which I think is a disaster waiting to happen.
You think so? Why? Well, tell me. Why do you think it's a disaster?
Well, obviously, what you see what the next topic is, Cody Rhodes to answer the challenge. But one last little tidbit here with the FTW Championship is I heard on that conference call Tony Khan go out of his way to say he was going to evolve that championship into something else and make it into something special. So if all of a sudden if Brian Cage comes out next week on TV and loses it to Will Hobbs, you're not exactly making it special. I think that it deserves to have its own limelight, like the TNT Championship, like the AEW Championship, but this would require more airtime for AEW so you can feature that FTW Championship and the TNT Championship and give it the shine it deserves. Again, you're only having 2 hours a week on national television, and you have a very, very stacked talent roster. Yes, you have AEW Dark, which is turned into Squash TV. That's what I call AEW Dark, Squash TV.
I mean, that's what it is at this point.
Yeah, remember when they had the live crowd. I liked being able to see maybe like a match like a Ricky Starks versus Darby Allin main event.
Yeah, it was something that you would see on Dynamite. Now it's more like these guys come out, they get squashed, and it's just a number in the win-loss column.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense too much. Like I think what was the one like Brian Cage 7-0 going in against Moxley, but all 7 matches were on
Dark.
Yeah, which against what's his Chip Garrison or something like that. I don't know.
And another thing that annoys me about Dark, and not to get on that subject, but if let's say Diamante has a match on Dynamite coming up. You see her take the victory on Dark against somebody who means nothing, and then I automatically know that you're just going to feed it to somebody on Dynamite anyway.
Right.
You know, it's very formulatic. Is that even a word?
Formatic. No, I'll go with it.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. It's Thursday night. It's late, you know, and we're gonna say the word formula. Yeah, formulatic. I can't even say it.
A formula. How about that?
That's fine.
The formula to this thing where you come in on Dark and then you lose. You win on Dark and you lose on Dynamite. That seems to be a formula.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. And look, that's the way they want to book. You know, we're all the only thing that we can do right now is sort of criticize it. You know what I mean?
Pretty much give it the thumbs up or thumbs down. But the way the things are, I'd like to see it go a different route.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with you. Like I said, he made the point of saying it to the media on the call. We're making this thing into its own entity. Okay, if you're going to do that, that's fine. But don't the first time he defends it on national TV, don't job it out.
Oh no, exactly. I don't think he's going to job it, honestly.
We'll see.
At least my fingers are crossed. At least.
Real quick, now let's transition over to Cody because one we're it's on the screen, so I guess we should talk about it. But
yeah,
Cody, listen, I'm a man of the people, and this is what the people want, so this is what we're gonna do. Listen, so Cody Rhodes came back last week and went after the Dark Order, and now it's another sign you can tell this was a tape show. He was wearing the same suit as last week. But the other part of this whole thing was Mr. Brody Lee comes out, and after he answered that challenge, and Cody was giving that little nonchalant promo. He was like, "Oh, you know, wrestlers want to come together and we shake each other's hands out of respect because it's the right thing to do because we know we're going to draw money and have our names together here." Great promo by Cody, and then he left the ring when he said no. He's going to come back, no regrets. Mr. Brody Lee comes out. They start brawling all over the place. Brandy came out doing a sick little flip off the rope. And she and your girl from the Dark Order there.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
I needed Anna Jay to choke her out again. I'm really digging Anna Jay.
Anna Jay, man.
Dixon, I dig that.
Yeah. I listen, you want my opinion about this promo? Again, rating it on the 5-star system, solid 4 promo. Cody's always been a good promo. I think when he was up north, we never got the opportunity to let him talk. And I think that's always been a very, very, very difficult thing. When you give him the microphone, ever since when AEW Dynamite has come on the air and he was feuding with Chris Jericho, his promos have been nothing but solid. And everything that Cody does in the ring is solid too. You know, he's had, if it wasn't for him, Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin probably wouldn't have gotten over in AEW as quickly as they have without having those matches with Cody.
No, I don't. You know what's funny is I don't normally do this, but I actually agree with you on this.
Yeah, you should.
This is one of the hey. Let's not get carried away and get ahead of ourselves. This time, I agree with you on this specific issue.
Okay. You know, I'll take what I can get. I just want to let you know. Yeah, this is like people like right now. There's a therapist in there saying, "Oh my God, look, they're healing."
Yeah, exactly.
This is a step right here.
This is like Kane and Daniel Bryan. You know, it's like no.
So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You agree with me? I don't want to ruin this moment. I just want to. I'm going to video this right now. Go ahead.
All right. So I can't say it again. Obviously, now I've said it once, and I think that was once too many times. But
you're like the Fonz going. I was.
I agree. No, but Cody always had the ability to talk. I mean, he did talk in that company up north, but not as much. And I think he learned more after he left.
Yeah.
He hooked up with the right people, and he had a lot of exposure outside of where he was. And I think that it had a positive impact. And this is what we have. We have the finished product. And it's exciting to see every so often. Like I said, I'm not a big babyface guy, but I think the promo was good, and it set up a nice little brawl. I thought the brawl could be a little more, I don't know, hard hitting.
A little bit more. Actually, I thought it could have been
More
a little
intense.
bit more intense, a little tighter with the way they shot it because they showed a lot of sloppiness with everybody. And like this is the one thing you could say about the company up north when they know they're going to do a big brawl like that. They know the angles to
see, but that wasn't my complaint. My complaint was
no, that's my complaint. I thought the shots could have been from a production standpoint when you're going to shoot a brawl, you like. The shots could have been a little. Maybe it's because they just don't have the right camera guys doing the right angles. It just didn't work.
I didn't mind the camera work. The camera work to me was fine. We obviously differ in that opinion. But what I didn't like was that maybe I think they should have hit each other a little harder. You know, it's like these are two guys that really hate each other. I want to see the intensity. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I'm watching too much New Japan where they're like really laying it in. But if I hate you and I want to get my hands on you, don't tap them. You know, like
okay, that's fair.
Make it a little more intense. And that was on the performers inside the ring. I think they should have been a little tighter with each other. It wasn't the camera angles.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, I'm looking forward to seeing this next week.
Yeah, so am I. What is a dog collar match?
It's a dog collar match. I haven't seen.
When was the last time you saw a dog collar match?
I don't remember the last time I saw it, but I did go back after seeing Mr. Brody Lee make the challenge to old footage.
Did you go on YouTube?
I know. I went on the network, the WWE network.
I don't have that thing.
And I watched Greg the Hammer Valentine versus Roddy Piper in a dog collar match. Okay. And they beat the hell out of each other.
And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting a good old
blood.
Ass
you know? I want blood.
You know what? I think we're going to get blood next week.
Red equals green.
You know what it is? I'm not a blood mark. I'm not. But there's some fights that need it. There's some rivalries that if you don't see blood, they're not believable. And this is one where I think they should have some color.
Well, I think, and for the fact that the Dark Order has attacked the Nightmare family so much over the last couple of weeks, and all the the destruction of Dustin and QT Marshall and Brandy, if they all have to be involved in this match somehow, you know, like they all have to come together. And go ahead.
I want the heels to win. I don't think they're gonna. And
no, I don't think so either.
Kills me a little bit inside.
And something that we were talking about earlier in the week, I was messaging you about this. A little piece to the story from the All Out pay-per-view, the Dark Order versus the Nightmare family. Matt Cardona was a part of Team Nightmare. Is now no longer under contract with AEW. He signed a very short-term deal, and I didn't realize that until I looked at the roster page of AEW and saw he wasn't on there. And I did some researching, and then all of a sudden, like 2 hours later, WrestlingInc.com, which I'm giving you some shout out, giving them some love. Let them know that we're mentioning them. They posted saying Matt Cardona made a statement about he was only going to be there for a couple months. He loved his time there, but he is more interested in waiting for the independents to back open up because he wants to hit the road. He doesn't want to be tied down to a company. Like Moxley made a very interesting comment. He said he was very nervous on signing on to an exclusive U.S. company after he just left an exclusive U.S. company, but he feels obviously he made the right decision. And you know, Moxley is Moxley, and Matt Cardona is Matt Cardona. But I don't think he made the right call by doing a short-term deal. I think maybe he should have worked his deal a little bit where he can, once everything opens up, he can go work a little bit. But at the same time, right now, he took a drink of water with AEW. He liked it. Why not further the relationship a little bit more and see if you can work a deal since your best friend's the vice president of the company?
Nah, I think that's what's going to happen eventually. Maybe he's listen. The indies are just opening up now. I see matches taking place. Luke Gallows is running his shows. Their shows being run in various places. Joey Janela did one recently in Jersey.
I'm sorry. I listened to Talking Shop on on Jericho's podcast, and I'm just listening to them, and I'm listening to them, and Gallows and Anderson. The first thing they say to Jericho, like, I don't know if we could do this show sober.
Yeah, so I'm like, they're always drinking. And
yeah,
They'll bring somebody on and they'll talk all over them for a good half hour. Then they realize, wait a second, we have a guest.
And goddamn Rocky Romano.
Rocky Romero, yeah. That's my dude, man.
All right, let's transition before because you and I will get so off topic.
We're gonna dive.
Yeah, it's gonna go crazy. So listen, the Young Bucks interrupt FTR's promo by kicking poor Tony Schiavone. First, Tony Schiavone gets his cell phone broken, and then the Young Bucks kick him in the face. This was sort of like a throwaway promo for me, because I really don't care too much about Tony Schiavone. I like his. Let me rephrase that. I don't think you're not going to see Tony Schiavone come to the ring during the next Young Bucks match and cost him a match. I'm sorry, you're not going to see that.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's not a big factor. It's part of the story of behind the scenes of them attacking everybody.
No, but definitely looking at it as a fan, you lose sympathy when you kick poor Tony Schiavone. What the hell did Tony?
Tony didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you're just also sitting there going, the Bucks are letting their frustration know that FTR brainwashed one of their friends. But we'll talk about that one friend in a little bit when we talk about the tag team title match. Also, as you see there on the little scroll, the SCU promo. It's a little thing, but I wanted to talk to you about it. One of the things that Scorpio Sky said in the promo, he said sometimes when opportunities knocks, you have to go back to where it is, and sometimes all roads lead back home. This seems like it was sort of a one-off for him to be a member of SCU. I feel like they've been trying to pull him away a little bit from Daniels and Kazarian. Do you think he's ready for a singles run, or do you do a thing where it's almost like the New Day, where Kofi will go out and then come back into the team and they can use them interchangeable parts, or do you just have to separate him from the affiliation of SCU?
No, I think that he'll always be part of SCU, but he'll be like Kofi, where he goes out, he does his own thing. He's a singles wrestler. He wins titles, because I do see people. I see him winning something down the line, maybe the TNT title, hopefully soon. So I think that he'll come in and out as the story demands. I don't see him going too far away from SCU. That's his identity. So that's his faction. It's a better word. Maybe if we get that trios title, he might even wrestle with them to get it.
And of course, this did lead to the tag team title match. Solid tag team title match, probably one of the better ones what we've seen on Dynamite for a while. I almost said Impact.
I saw
Dynamite for a long time. Listen, in my eyes, AEW, remember, my favorite word that we use on this show is presentation. It matters how you present the talent on television. And they are presenting FTR as the best tag team in the world. I like how they say the brush of greatness with SCU, the former tag team champions. I like the fact that SCU went out there confident, and they're saying we guarantee that we're going to come back out here and win the tag team championships, and they fall a little short. I like the way Tully was involved in the match, and they sort of tricked to get Daniels thrown out of there. I liked everything about this match. On my little starometer, this is 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, Meltzer. I don't know.
What? Don't you ever, Scott Keith?
Listen. What's wrong with Meltzer? All right.
I listen. Don't ever associate. Yeah, I'm like Pritchard and those other guys like that. Meltzer is a parasite in the wrestling.
He's not a parasite because he kept people interested in wrestling. You can't get mad at that.
Scott Keith, my guy.
All right, Scott Keith. Then you're the Scott Keith.
Guy makes millions talking about wrestling. If you want to compare me to him,
listen. I wouldn't mind making millions, man. But I'm not that interesting. It's like nobody. Oh, that bald dude's talking about wrestling. I'm not gonna listen to him.
Hey, Wade Keller, what do you think about this match?
I like the match. I wouldn't go up that high though. I'd give it a 3.5 at least, but I wouldn't go 4.
I think maybe it's because I liked both teams, and so
I think so. So there's a little bit of bias. Listen, I like FTR too, but I still wouldn't give it that high a rating. I don't know.
Okay.
To me, it was one of those matches where
you knew who the winner was going to be.
Yeah, we knew who the winner was going to be, and I don't know. It just didn't hold my attention like I thought it would. There was something missing. I don't know if it was because it was taped, and I knew it was taped. I don't know. The excitement just wasn't there for me.
No, I can't disagree with what you're saying. I felt like if there was a crowd for this match, a lot like
A big
not the 10, yeah, bigger crowd, this match you would have felt the clapping, you would have felt the energy with it.
yeah,
I think the lack of it just
the lack.
didn't
Yeah,
it
it might
did
have been that. I don't know, but there was something definitely missing. I don't know what it was. I can't place my finger on it. I've been thinking about it since yesterday. I even talked to a couple of people today about their opinions, and they kind of felt like I did. Like most of the show was like that. It was one that was hard to focus on, or at least keep my focus.
Who do you think eventually takes these belts off of FTR?
It's a great question. I'd probably have to say the Young Bucks. I mean, story wise, that's the logical conclusion to this.
Yeah, I don't know where they're really going with the Buck thing, though. Do we go back to that real quick?
I think they'll. It's a slow burn. They're probably not gonna to get the. They're not gonna get a challenge right away. So look at FTR having these titles until 2021 at least. It's probably February. And what is it? What's the next pay per view? Full Gear.
Yeah, Full Gear, then Revolution after that.
So they're probably gonna lose in a Revolution. That's my guess.
All right, well, now you have the announcement. Of course, the one thing we didn't talk about was during the tag team title match was the Hangman, your boy Adam Page, on commentary. Well, okay, or happy hour, whichever one you want to call this for him. It was either happy hour, this 5 o'clock somewhere, baby, and that's the way you have to look at it. And they made the announcement about the number 1 contender tournament, 8-man tournament, and they announced the first 3 names: Jungle Boy, which scratched my head, Ray Phoenix, scratched my head even more, and then Kenny Omega. They were looking for the spit take, and they got it out of Hangman Adam Page, which now draws another theory from me, my friend, about what's going to happen. But before we do that, let's get your reaction to that, the number 1 contender spot.
But this is what I was telling you. I was telling you, Kenny Omega is going to win. He's going to challenge. I've been saying this for weeks. You kept throwing in that they were going to team up one last time. It made no sense to me. So I'm going to stick with my theory that we're going to see Omega win this thing, and he's going to get that shot at Moxley. He's going to take the title off of Moxley. We're finally going to get the Hangman Omega storyline. It looks like it's on a holding pattern until Omega gets that title. And when Omega gets that title, this looks like a long-term story, man. It's not gonna finish anytime soon. At least until probably Double or Nothing. That's my guess, and that's at the earliest.
Listen, my new theory, and it makes sense. You might hate it, but it works.
More than likely, 100%, I will hate it. But go on, indulge me.
What if Hangman cost Omega either the title shot or the title match?
Again, that's something that could happen.
Yeah, it's not the worst theory in the world now.
No, it's not. I still think it's going the other way, though. Only because Hangman, last year, he was in the title match, right? He has to find his way back into that position.
Yeah.
He said it recently on an interview. I think it was with Wrestle Inc. as well. But I read it, and basically he said that he didn't feel that he deserved the spot against Jericho at All Out because he came in last in a battle royal, and all he had to do was win the battle royal. And Jericho had to fight Omega. And when he said that, it all made sense to me. I'm telling you, I listen, I'm poor, but I'm willing to bet you 50 cents. All right?
Wait. Are we talking $1 Canadian like Jericho and Christian did back in 04?
Yes, I'm going with $50 here. All right, I'm willing to wager that right now against you.
Is this almost like the wing bet for tomorrow night, whether I show up or not?
Yes. That, you know what? No, I did promise that. I said you show up, I buy the wings, and we watch some wrestling, some New Japan wrestling. But I told you, I'm gonna have you like Clockwork Orange, man. Your eyes are gonna be like this, and I'm just gonna sit there. You're gonna watch some wrestling, real wrestling. It's gonna happen. Mark my words, man. But I go back to this bet, 50 cents, Randy. Come on, what is it? October 1st, 50 cents, 2 quarters. All right, 2 quarters. So this is what's going to happen. Hangman is going to go after Omega eventually when Omega is champion. I called it October 1st. You got it. 50 cents.
That sounds good.
When I win, I want my 50 cents. Now, don't try to give me pennies. I want 2 quarters. All right?
We already had a penny conversation. I wasn't really happy about it back then. I'm not ready to have it again now. So, with that being said, it's going to be very interesting to see where this story goes. Obviously,
I know. I'm there for the ride, man. I'm like really excited.
Paige and Omega. It's like the single white female thing. The way Paige is sort of just chasing Omega around right now. It's sort of very
creepy. Great.
What'd you say?
I said, okay, you made it creepy.
With that being said, speaking of creepy, let's talk about Chris Jericho and Isiah Kassidy. I don't know how creepy. I guess the way we can go creepy is the way these guys are following Matt Hardy around. The private party shows up to fight the Inner Circle. And then speaking of creepy, we can find a way to add Luther into the conversation because why is that happening?
It's happening because they are friends, all right? I'm 100% sure that Jericho is like, listen, it's my anniversary. This is the person I want to wrestle. He's giving Luther the rub because honestly, do you care about Luther? Because personally, I don't.
No,
I mean, I thought it was a mistake when he showed up with a Nightmare Collective, and now he's just kind of been floundering. Didn't he have something with Jimmy Havoc at some point?
It was all sorts of weird.
And then he's just been around. So this is kind of random as hell. But you know what? Jericho wants it. Jericho deserves it. 30 years, right? 30 years?
Well, no, but I think the other part of that you're forgetting too goes back to 2 hours of programming a week. And just not enough space to get all your guys on TV. And I mean, Luther.
But let's be honest. And I hate to interrupt you, but let's be honest. He's a deathmatch specialist. Beyond that, he's not really fun to watch. At least this is my personal opinion. I'm not crapping on the guy. I don't ever want to see Luther try to beat me up because I say this. Because I cannot fight. I have a broken back.
Luther is a friend of the show, by the way. I just want to let you know.
Exactly. I'm not crapping on him. This is just my opinion. I'm not a big Luther fan. I didn't say he sucks or anything. Those were not my words. But I am not interested or invested in his character. And until they do something, like you said, they only have X amount of time. But I don't know. Like, you got to make me care about the dude before you throw him in there with Jericho. But I see where they're going. They're hoping throwing him in there with Jericho will make me care. So let's see. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll be like, yeah, man, that guy Luther is great. That's not me now, though.
What did you think of the match? The actual match
was good.
Against Kassidy and Jericho.
I had no complaints, man. This was what it was supposed to be. Jericho giving the rub to a younger talent, bringing him up to the next level. And Isiah is like, what, 22? He's so young. Yeah, so much talent.
I had no problem with it. It makes you wonder in some senses which member of the private party is more talented. But at the same time, I like both guys. I think they're a team that's on the rise that deserves a push. But it's just not their time compared to what they have in that division right now. They seem to be like the forgotten sons in that situation where they're just not thought of. They're just, they're like sort of like the Jurassic Express. They're a good hand, but lately when you watch them on TV, like, all right, they're alive.
You got to give them time. You got to build them up. And
yeah, they're a young, they're a live crowd team. I hate to say it.
And how do you build them up? You put them with a guy like Jericho. I mean, you did it with Kassidy as the other Kassidy with the C,
which is next, by the way.
Oh, why? Do we really have to discuss that?
Well, we have to. We're not. We won't go too much. Let's finish up here. Let's finish it.
Okay, but no, this is what it was, man. You're bringing them up. You're giving them exposure. It's Chris Jericho and Isiah Kassidy. I mean, you don't see that often, so of course we're going to talk about it. And it was a match.
Main event all over the world. Just saying it right now.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's transition right.
Yes, let's get to the OJ.
Okay,
it's over with.
Well, obviously FTR is back in the locker room with best friends. They confront the best friends about having an opportunity at the championships, and Orange Cassidy just calls them weenies, and everybody walks away, and FTR acts a little scared. And then Obviously, when you see the topic bar come up here, you see it. Too much Kassidy. Orange Kassidy defeats number 10. So I really am not sure. I was a little torn because I initially liked the Orange Kassidy character. I thought when he was a little part of it, it brought out so much more. So now they're overexposing him by having matches every single week. He should never be favored in any type of match ever, and now he's starting to become that way, fighting the jobbers of the Dark Order. And if Orange Kassidy, look who's saying this now. Look who's saying it. If Orange Kassidy went away for a couple weeks, I think it'll be a plus more than a minus.
But that's the thing is that I think that they look at the ratings and it's like, hey, this guy is drawing. Let's put him on TV, and which is the normal reaction. I get it, but at least to me, there's still people out there that love every aspect of Orange Kassidy, every instance of his appearance. I would say I don't know. It's getting late, but
medicine's kicking in, baby.
Yeah, man, that allergy medicine is really hitting me. But so I understand business aspect of it as a fan that doesn't want to be fed the same thing every week. Stop it. All right. I don't need to see it. And you're right. You know what? I think in the indies, he was favored in a lot of these matches. So they're probably doing the same thing. But what was working for me as a fan, I saw him weekly and he did something a little bit and then he was gone. All right. He didn't win every match. He wasn't favored at all. You put him with Pac, and he wasn't favored in that match.
No, but it was a great match.
It was a great match, and we were pleasantly surprised. Can you say that you have the same feeling now ad nauseum after seeing him so many times? Just, Orange Kassidy's here tonight in action. Okay, he's winning tonight. That's the feeling I get. So it's not the same thing. You're changing them into something else, and honestly, I'm getting tired of seeing it. All right, I called them Roman Kassidy the other day because if I see another goddamn orange punch, I'm gonna lose my damn mind. I promise you this. I don't want to break my own TV, but I'm getting close there.
Like I said, it becomes a little too much. I like him better when he's accompanying the best friends and just being
less is more.
Yeah, less is more, exactly. Listen, moving on. Let's move on with this, and I know you're going to love this, and it's going to draw such an interesting conversation. But the MJF Inner Circle promo, which got me a little fired up because I love that little. I asked you this before. Did you want to be a part of the Inner Circle? I'm asking you. Do you want me to be a part of the Inner Circle? Yeah. And then Sammy's like, "What a loser." Maybe he's not.
Maybe not.
Now I get to have fun with you because this is going to be pretty awesome. Is MJF trying to take the Inner Circle away from Chris Jericho? Is he trying to oust Sammy Guevara?
I think it might be Sammy. Honestly, yeah. I got the feeling yesterday he forgot Sammy's jacket. How do you forget this jacket?
It would have been more interesting if he would have forgotten Jericho's jacket.
Yeah, but
if he would have forgotten
the 30th anniversary coming up, it wouldn't have made sense. But maybe he might do that to every member in the coming weeks. I don't know. That's something to keep an eye out for.
I'll tell you, if you remember, you're not just getting MJF, you're getting Wardlow. So, you have to see where all that fits.
Or maybe he's taken Jericho out of the Inner Circle. I don't know, but there's something definitely up there.
Yeah, and I liked it. I watched that promo a couple times too. I'm looking for that hidden message. There's a hidden message in there somewhere. I gotta find.
Yeah. What I thought was the funniest was that when Wardlow and MJF they were coming close, and you see Jake Hager come up, and they stand face to face, and all the Spanish guys are like, "Oh man, there's gonna be a fight!" And I popped for that because that's exactly how I probably would have reacted. I would be like, "Yeah, they're gonna fight." Like I'm just gonna sit here and watch them. I thought that was like realistic as hell.
Listen, I love the promo. I had no problems with it whatsoever.
It's a bunch of talent in that room, man. It's amazing. They have to do something more with Proud and Powerful, man.
I agree with you. I think right now they are sitting on the bench right now in the tag team division, and I feel like you can say about you you can say that about also the Lucha Brothers. I feel like the Lucha Brothers are not being utilized the right way, and I can even say the same thing. And I'm saying it out loud that say the same thing about a lot of the teams. You can say that about the Jungle Express, the Jurassic Express.
Jurassic. They're dinosaurs and a jungle boy and a little guy
and Marco,
a little guy. Which I like. I actually like him. Just don't do that stupid dance. I hate that dance.
I'm gonna make sure we get people to come by the store tomorrow and do the little dance.
Yeah, I'll make sure I close my eyes.
I'm gonna have my little guy show over to the store. Do the floss. No.
The moment that anybody does that stupid dance, I close my eyes and I drift away to some beach. And I don't even like beaches, but you know what? In this instance, I'll just make believe I'm on a beach.
Oh no, you end up in New York City by the Statue of Liberty,
which is fine. I'm cool with that too.
New York.
I'm Broadway, baby.
So let's reel this back in. That was a great promo, and now let's talk about the main event. And what were you expecting? Eddie Kingston picking the opponent. We hadn't seen the Butcher.
It's a little anticlimactic. I'll tell you. It's like,
I'm going to pick the opponent for you. You know what I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick the guy who hasn't won a match in 3.5 months. How do you like me now?
That I expected somebody brand new. I don't know. I got my hopes up. Said they got a surprise for me, and then it was like the Butcher, and I was like, I should have known.
Yes, we haven't seen him in a while. Also known as 2 weeks. Let's bring out the Butcher.
Yeah, he just came out, and I'm like, oh wait, this guy hasn't won anything. He's not that intimidating since everyone's beat him.
Yeah.
Okay, he gets a title match. I'm not sure where they were going with that. Like I said, we watched it in a group, and we're all scratching our heads over that one.
Yeah, it was a rare miss. That was definitely a rare miss.
The match was good.
The match was good, but I'm talking about from as far as
anticipation point. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because again, you being a wrestling fan and you used to watch the big company up north, especially during the Shawn Michaels championship reigns. What was a bigger letdown? Like one like that where you're saying the Butcher's the opponent, or is it like that 8-man tag match where someone has to fill in for Shawn Michaels and here comes Savio Vega? You're saying
that's a great question. I don't know. They were kind of neck and neck,
You're like, it's Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and the New Age Outlaws versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, Owen Hart, Mick Foley, and Terry Funk, and you're sitting there going, Shawn's not in it. Oh, they're going to come up with someone big to fill in for the champ. And there's
Savio Vega. Listen, I don't have any problem with Savio, man. I don't have a problem with Savio. But what in the hell was that? Why put him there? I thought you were going to, at that point, just put no one.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm sorry. We jumped into the world title match before we talked about one other thing. So let me give you one more final topic. I give the title match 3 stars. It was a solid match. Nothing wrong with it. For what it was fine. If you thought that the Butcher was going to come away with the world championship, I would like to sit down and explain pro wrestling to you at a later point.
I got a couple of things to teach you.
Yeah.
About the birds and the bees and wrestling.
Yeah. I no problem with it. Moxley coming out on top. Obviously, they want to keep him strong for Archer. That in 2 weeks. I have some reservations still about Archer. What's going to happen there?
He's going to lose.
Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. Don't make
it so obvious. I know it. The blind guy, the deaf guy knows it.
Yeah.
The blind deaf guy knows it.
One thing we did not have a chance to talk about really in depth. We're not going to go over the match as per se, but the return of Britt Baker. Britt Baker, who I think during the pandemic was the women's division MVP. She had more TV time than Cheetah did, and Cheetah's your champion. Good to see her back in the ring. I'm very happy with the progress as a star. You and I were talking about some top 5 stars that are on the rise of AEW, and the one in the women's division is definitely Dr. Britt Baker. I think this is what they originally saw as far as attention and what they want in their champion eventually to be is the personality of what Dr. Britt Baker has turned into.
You know what's funny is I noticed something about her yesterday that she wasn't doing before. And AEW is known to take a lot of these indie talents and put them in front of a live audience, but they're not used to playing to the hard cam or any of the cams. Honestly, there's some guys that do it naturally. Britt Baker wasn't that. All right, she was independent wrestler. She's learning, man, and she showed a lot of that yesterday in her return. She was looking at the hard cam the whole time. She was playing to it. She was playing to the cameras on the side of the ring. She was nodding, winking, smiling. It was great. That's a showman right there. She's learning, and we're getting to see something that we don't get to see often. Normally, we get to see wrestlers as a finished product. With AEW, we're seeing wrestlers evolve and grow, on a weekly basis. And to me, as a wrestling fan, I appreciate that. We could sit here and we could criticize them all day, but no one is born knowing everything. You got to go out there, and I say it every week.
It's close.
Yeah, close, but no cigar. But God damn it, Randy.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know about reporting and stuff like that. I still got things to teach you about wrestling.
Okay, that's fair. Listen. You were in the ring. I was outside the ring watching. Yeah, so there we go.
I was in the ring like, God damn, that was like 20 years ago. I thought about it the other day, but
I went in the ring, and then I got out of the ring once I saw how dangerous that thing. I was like, wow, people stand on top of these things. I'm getting that funny.
No, but I digress. I love seeing this stuff, where somebody comes in, they're kind of green to the whole process of being on TV, and they grow every week. They learn a little bit, they learn a little bit more, and eventually you see the finished product. And I think that we're getting to the point where Britt is getting it, man. She's understanding it, and she's putting it all into practice. And it's just going to be a matter of time before you see the finished product, man. And we're really going to be in for a treat at that point.
I agree. I think she's the future of the division, and I think she is the one who should be defeating Sheeta, not Nyla Rose.
No, I totally agree.
And I think eventually, once the crowds come back, Baker is going to be a heel that eventually the crowd will turn babyface because she is that good. And I know you hate that.
No, I do, because if you're a good heel, then you stay heel. You find a way. MJF finds a way to stay heel, man.
No, I agree with you. All right, real quick, final thoughts. Give me a couple thoughts of what you think, not only of AEW, but for the wrestling this week. I'll give mine afterwards. Go for it, Mr. Rivera.
Well, as you know, I've been paying attention and catching up on New Japan every single day that they're on. I am watching. I don't watch it in the mornings because, as you guys know, I'm not a morning person. Randy tried to get me to do a podcast. I don't think he'd like me in the mornings. I can be honest with you. I'm a night.
I don't really like it majority of the time. That's
exactly. So imagine the morning. I'm a cranky son of a bitch. I really am. But I've been watching diligently every chance I get, and I think I dream about pro wrestling. That's how much I'm watching it at this point. And we've seen some very, very strong pro wrestling in New Japan, especially during the G1. I won't spend too much time on it because everybody's here for the AEW stuff. But that wrestling is by far the best wrestling I've watched all week long. Then we go to AEW's show this week. I don't know. There was something missing about it. I don't know if it was because it was taped. There wasn't that energy. There was something lacking. It wasn't a terrible show, but it wasn't a great show either. It was middle of the middle of the field. What's the saying? Right?
Middle of the pack, baby. Middle of the pack.
Yeah, middle ground. So it was passable. It was watchable, but it didn't hold my attention. I felt myself losing interest here and there, and kind of reminding myself that I had to watch it. So I don't know. I'm guessing it's because it was a tape show. What do you think, Randy?
I think in general, for my final thoughts for the week, is just the healthy state of the wrestling industry. WWE is not the only place in town now to go. You have AEW that has national TV distribution. Impact is sort of making a comeback, and
those are your boys too.
Yeah. Impact is making a comeback. Ring of Honor is still out there. You have NWA that is trying to produce new content as well. And obviously Evolve and just these different
Wait,
promotions.
Evolve is the people up north, man.
Oh, that's right. They bought out Evolve. Well,
They
and
bought it.
New Japan is out there as well.
Jesus, I love that company
I
so much.
just think that the industry as a whole is in such a better place now because there's opportunities for the boys to go to not only get
Despite,
paid, but
yeah,
also
despite the COVID.
but once we get past that, they have a place where they can not only go but they can improve and be able to improve on a national audience. And like unlike it was during the Monday Night Wars, where you had to watch the USA Network and you had to watch TNT and there was no replay and there was no way to watch it later in the week unless you taped it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with so many different platforms, hey, you're not on national TV, go put yourself on Twitch, go put yourself on YouTube, go put yourself in different places where you can have exclusive content.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the things I'm a little disappointed with AEW with is they should be incorporating being the elite certain things on Dynamite. And I think if they included that, I think it would help that show on YouTube. Dark does a great job with as far as viewers and watchers on YouTube. So take advantage of it. But they're sort of missing that. So my final thought is just the health of the wrestling industry as a whole is and it's getting into a good place where lots of other people, if they're not happy with the big company up north, will have opportunities elsewhere and still be able to have their name out there. Obviously, Impact still has a lot of work to do. It's a shame that they were on the cusp of something really big, but the disorganization behind the scenes took it down and destroyed what a great wrestling product it was for a while. It was hokey in some senses. Like I don't think you want to on a national stage you want to have a character by the name of Suicide on there, but I think that you have,
but it's different.
Yeah, it's different and it works.
Exactly. If I don't like, let's say, for the sake of saying it, because I do like AEW, but let's just say it wasn't my cup of tea, and the guys up north weren't my cup of tea. I can pick so many other places, and there's so many independents that you can go to also and watch them online. You know, a lot of these places they have streaming for their shows, so there's so much pro wrestling out there. You know, there's no excuse. You know what? I used to be one of those guys where it's like I would only watch one show. But I think that I've evolved and grown as a fan, and here I am opening my eyes to new stuff, new matches. Look, I'm reading this book. I'm learning all about all these other places, Chikara, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Like I didn't know about this stuff because all I would watch was Connecticut. That's it. You know, so
I love that you just call it Connecticut.
Yeah, the guys up north.
That made me giggle. I'm not gonna lie. I know you just used the word giggle, but that's funny.
That's true, but it's a great feeling to know that, you know what, if you don't like whatever you're watching, you have the freedom to change the channel and watch something else. Back then, I don't think I felt that. And now I feel the freedom where it's like, oh, I feel this is hokey and it's not for me. I can watch something else.
His name is Emerito Rivera. My name is Randy Zelia. We're on the Deep Six Wrestling Podcast, brought to you live every single week. Go to the Deep Six Facebook page. Throw us a like. Go us on Twitter. Throw us a follow, and go on, of course, on YouTube and subscribe. We are live every single week. Filling in this week for Mr. Wayne Rivera. We hope we did him proud and made sure we stepped up to the plate and did the right things here. So maybe we'll have a job next week. Go to level1games.com right now. Take your game to the next level and relive your past. Level 1 Games located Route 23, Pompton Plains, New Jersey. Check out Mr. Rivera there. Backsportspage.com, at Backsportspage on Instagram and Twitter. Randy BSP on Instagram and Twitter. Hey, we did an hour. We talked about AEW and Mr. Rivera. We'll see you on Tuesday night on backsportspage.com.
Definitely. And listen, before we go, my bed is not wet anymore. So we've been an hour, and after I pour that, it's dry.
You know what? It's a shame that's how we're ending this. But guess what?
That's how we ended this. I did it for Wayne and Tommy.
Good night, everyone.
Good.